Hello, everyone. This is Justin Smythe from nextbigtrade.com. In the final video for the newsletter this week, I want to discuss 5 potential new leading stocks in the stock market right now. And this is important because we're still early in this new uptrend. So identifying the best stocks emerging while this new uptrend is occurring is really how you identify big winners. In the newsletter, I discuss a number of factors that tend to contribute to these stocks potentially being big winners. And one of them, which we'll review on these charts, is big volume and a gap up higher as these stocks break out into new uptrends. The first stock is SYM, and you can see that during this past week, the stock gapped up on massive volume after earnings. And this was already a stage 2 breakout as it kind of emerged on volume the previous week, which was in the newsletter. And then this week, it gaps up on powerful volume. And this was the biggest volume ever on a daily basis for this stock. Now it's starting to pull back a little bit after the gap. But overall, we've got a new major potential winner here in a leading sector. This is an artificial intelligence stock. And now it basically has minimal overhead resistance and is basically completing a continuation breakout after a major correction during the recent correction in the stock market. So this stock, basically when it tried to break out back in late July, it was trying to break out at the wrong time because this is right when the stock market correction started in late July. So you've got a big move higher on volume after earnings, but it occurs at the wrong time because the stock market went into a correction. Then, this stock basically goes lower all the way until early October, which is where it started to kind of flash a little bit of volume and break out, but then it couldn't really start moving higher until the overall market got back into an uptrend. So now we've got a massive breakout, and this could really be one of the main winners of this cycle with this monster gap up and huge move higher already early in this cycle. So definitely a stock to look at getting into on a pullback, and with the market potentially ready to have its first pullback in this new rally, I think all of these stocks are going to be ones to focus on for buying into a pullback if the overall market starts to pull back starting next week. Next, turning to PLTR, this was one that broke out the first week of this new rally. You've got a powerful gap up higher on volume after earnings. This one rallied for the last couple weeks, and then we finally got a pullback this week. So this one's already pulling back, which could be an indication that the rest of the market might be ready to pull back as well, given that this was a leader in this market currently. And we definitely want to see the 30-week moving average obviously hold during this pullback. But overall, another, you can see the same characteristic here with a massive gap up higher on volume, and really has no resistance as well early in this new uptrend. Next is DUOL. Again, same thing here, massive gap up, biggest volume, I think, in the history of this stock as well. The gap blows through all the resistance, so you've basically got no overhead resistance now. This one definitely has room to pull back as well. It might have its first major pullback. Volume is kind of tapered off, but again, great setup here. If it pulls back towards the gap, that would be a good buying opportunity, potentially for the next move higher. Now, these are all continuation breakouts. The next two are investor breakouts. LMND was coming off of a major low and broke out again, another gap up on powerful volume. Has already kind of had a little bit of a pullback towards the gap, which held, and some volume has come in again. This one could still kind of consolidate sideways if there's more of a pullback next week. but then you want to see it resume higher. It does have some overhead resistance, but again, this is an investor breakout now because it's coming out of a stage one base. And this stock has a huge short position against it as well. Most of these stocks have fairly sizable short positions against them as well, which again is another kind of iron in the fire that can lead to, big price appreciation. And all these stocks are sized well as well, which I discussed in the newsletter. These are all stocks that are, on the lower end of the market cap. Besides PLTR has got a pretty sizable market cap, but I think the rest of these are between $1 and $10 billion market cap stocks. So they've got plenty of room for growth. Finally, the only non-artificial intelligence stock in this group is CRSP, which is a biotech stock, but this stock has just erupted on massive volume coming out of its stage one base, really came out of a new low for the stock and then blasted off higher on volume and just had a shallow pullback a couple weeks ago, but now is starting to kind of maybe pull back again. This one might be buyable on a pullback over the next week or so. You've got basically 5 weeks now of massive volume, and this one has a short position against it as well. So another one that looks like a major new winner that's hard to get into, right now. That's another sign of a massive new leader. Is a lot of times you'll have fast price appreciation that's hard to get into. But if you look for that first major pullback, that's a great place to do buying after the stage two breakout. And these stocks are all still early in this uptrend, as this uptrend is only about 5 weeks old starting next week. So these are 5 stocks that are showing great signs of being new leaders. These are definitely 5 to focus on. Obviously, there's going to be more breakouts if this uptrend continues. So you always want to compare new breakouts to some of the existing ones. But these 5 stand out right now as we start week 5 of this rally next week.